All right, well, here we go, everybody. This is Captain John from Let's Take a Ride podcast. I have an old friend here, Mr. Tazz, all the way from Thailand. And he is going to talk about bikes. And of course, we're continuing the series on impacts with animals. He has a unique story, especially for us in the States. Um, but anyways, just be sure to click like or subscribe or you're watching on Spotify or YouTube so we can grow this channel. So Taz, very good to see you.
Good to see you too, John.
Yes. So you're over in Thailand in now are you north or south of the equator?
North of the equator, and we're in one of the northern province of Thailand called Udon Thani.
Okay, so you're in of course that's warm there, but it's winter versus Australia. It's your summer down there.
Yeah, but it's winter here too, mate. Winter here too.
Okay, okay. Well, I saw you. So we just identified it's been since 2013, and that was when you were all the way over here on a big journey to the U.S. And I remember we went out for a day ride then, and I just was riding that old Gold Wing, and you had told me a story, a little bit about your riding, but what just tell us. We'll just kind of dive into it. What got you into riding motorcycles, and tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I first started riding motorcycles probably around about 40 odd years ago, and I've been riding and driving for over 50. And I just started off with, I wonder what it would be like. Started off with a small, I think it was a Suzuki 250. And then I went up to about a 350. And then I decided to like something a little bit bigger. So I bought a Queensland, no, it was a South Australian ex-police bike, a Honda 754, and found that really exhilarating.
I bet you did.
After that, I had a good offer to sell it, so I sold it, and I bought another police motorcycle, another Suzuki 754, and that was a much lighter, quite nippy little bike. Rode that for a few years. Bought Honda CBR 600. And then a bit later on, like about 30 years after all that, I bought my first cruiser, which was a Honda VT 1100, and I rode that for quite a few years before it blew up. And then I bought a Honda VTX 1800 and had that I bought that brand new in 2010 and sold that just before I came and moved over here to Thailand. I found it really, really good. Over here in Thailand, the economy is not as good as what it is in other countries. So people have to get around, and you get a lot of scooters over here. Literally millions and millions of scooters. I've driven and ridden in Bangkok and Pattaya. It's madness, absolutely madness. The roads aren't too but one thing I did notice when I hired a Goldwing in 2011 to get my first trip over here, that's when I first met you and Tammy.
Uh-huh.
I noticed roads over in America were smooth, and I had a GoPro mounted on the front handlebars, and I noticed between Los Angeles and Las Vegas when I made that first trip on the highway. I looked down at the speedo and I was doing 100 mile an hour. And then when I got to the hotel, I took the GoPro off and got it to that spot. There wasn't even a ripple. There wasn't even a bump. It was just straight smooth. And it's one thing I like about the roads in America, the highways. They are very, very smooth.
Well, I do remember you on that gold wing, and I still have a picture of you two with the gold wing, and I think Tammy was standing there too, just as y'all were leaving. And
Yeah.
I think that prompted me to getting that older gold wing was y'all's experience with that. And so, how many on that trip? That was your first tour of the United States.
Yeah.
How many miles was that trip for y'all?
I think in that 1 month we travelled about 6 or 7 thousand miles, and that
Holy
was a
cow.
month.
Yeah, that's a big trip.
Yeah, yeah. But when we come to visit you guys 2 years later, that's when we actually bought a Kawasaki Nomad. I think it was a 15 or 1600. We had that for 3 months. We toured the States for 3 months, and we did, I think it was for the last count, 31 states that we did.
Okay, and I remember y'all did some. I know you went to Sturgis. That was something you're wanting to do, and you got your tattoo,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, and y'all did. There you go. Okay, you came halfway around the world and you hit up legendary Sturgis. Yes, got the tattoo there, and I know you came over and rode the tail of the dragon because I've seen that
Yeah.
picture. Yeah. Now, what was some of
Yeah.
the big highlights, the memories of roads you were on or places that just stand out in your memory today?
Oh, I think the first one that stands out was the circuit that we did in Colorado, the $1 million highway.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely stunning. Then there was the Beartooth Highway, and I've done the Beartooth Highway twice. That was absolutely amazing. One of the things in 2011 when we did Sturgis is we went across a few counties, and we actually visited the Devil's Tower, where Close Encounters of the Third Kind was filmed. Absolutely incredible place. I think also the bridge ride from Key West to Miami to Key West was absolutely incredible. All of those miles over the water was
Hmm.
absolutely brilliant. Um, Taylor the Dragon too. You get us guys, the cruisers, just taking that time and going around the corners. And you see the guys on the crotch rockets or the sports bikes, they dragging their knees and that on the ground and that. Yeah, I mean, it was really really good. I mean to say. People over there were extremely friendly. They'd see the flag and they're saying, "Are you from England?" I said, "No, nobody. We're from Australia. We're Aussies from what you call down under." And yeah, I mean, it was a memorable trips. The two memorable trips we did on the motorcycle were brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Loved it.
Well, we were very blessed to have y'all stay with us both times. We thoroughly enjoyed it. Now, I saw before we start, you still have your Tasmanian Devil that you had on your handlebars for the trip, looked like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I cannot believe it survived the trip, but there it is.
Well, it did 2 trips. It stood on stood on the back of the Goldwing in 2011, and it was on the front of the Kawasaki Nomad in 2013. It's a little bit faded. It's very much faded, but still here.
Fantastic. Well, so you're up in Thailand now, and you've been up there for a little while now, and I know that you're talking about everybody's just madness on the scooters and everything. I'm sure you're not too keen to get into that traffic over there with the scooters, are you?
Well, no, because while I was in Pattaya, I was renting a scooter, and I was like, when all the traffic builds up to a stop, all the scooters start to make their way between the lanes, and they lane split, and they go. And I had the unfortunate accident of a car moving right in front of me, and I went bang, and I had a motorcycle accident, had concussion. I was knocked
Oh,
unconscious for probably about a minute, and I had a cut there, a laceration there, and another laceration there. They took me to one of the local big hospitals up there by ambulance. And this is how good, and you probably have heard rumours how cheap it is. Well, I had a dislocated thumb, so I had the X-rays of my chest, my head, and a thumb. So they come back, everything was all good except the dislocated thumb. So they put that back in. And then two doctors got to and started to suture up the lacerations on my head. Then I got some painkillers, and the whole thing cost me around about, in Australian dollars, around about 100 Australian dollars,
Wow.
which would be around about $75 American. I had all of that work done for that price, and it was first class, because now you can't even see where the scars are. It's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. I don't even want to even guess what that would cost over here, but it would cost well more than a nice premium motorcycle. You know,
Well, yeah.
yeah,
I mean, I can remember when we were staying in a hotel, the German girls that, well, they knocked on the door and they wanted to know if they could contact their brother in Germany because they'd run out of money. Because while on a hike that morning, the girls slipped over, cut a leg, and it was like a 4-inch cut. She went to one of the hospitals in a local hospital where they were staying, and it was all very good. They sutured up, but it cost over 700 American dollars just to get that little work done.
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, and so there's some definite benefits to where you're living up there, obviously. So, you know, when I know you had a pretty big impact, and so you hit a kangaroo on your bike in Australia, and I'm guessing the kangaroos are kind of like the deer here, that they're everywhere. They're just
Yeah.
bouncing around. But tell me about that experience, and what happened, and what was going on, what the time of day, where you were going, all that.
Well, at that time, I was living in a coastal town called Yeppoon in far north Queensland. The nearest big city was Rockhampton, so it's about 35 kilometres. Sorry about the kilometres. It's about that from Yeppoon to Rockhampton. And then it was a good 1 hour, 20-minute ride from Rockhampton to Gladstone, where I was doing security on a big wharf in a gatehouse. And I used to go there, do 2 days, do 2 nights, and then have 4 days off. And but this particular morning, and I kid you not, the date was 2012, and it was Halloween. I don't know why, but about 5 kilometres, about 3 miles south of Rockhampton, I was riding along merrily. It was dark, and I saw these tiny blinking eyes on the side of the road. And at that stage, I was doing about 120 kilometres an hour, which is just over 65, 70. So I decided to do it. I accelerated, and as I accelerated, the kangaroo came out and smashed into my left lower leg, breaking and shattering both of the bones.
Oh, wow.
And the force of the impact slid me right over to the other side of the road and back. And that I can thank God for, because if there was a truck or a car coming the other way, I would not be here now. But luckily, nothing happened. I just slowed the bike down, got up onto the shoulder of the bike, switched it off, and I think I tried to get the kickstand down. And the bottom of my leg was like that. It was just floating, and I'm thinking, that's a broken bone. I can't move it. So I had to balance on the bike. I called my mate in the gatehouse and I told him what happened. I said, I'm about to call an ambulance. And then I called the ambulance, and 3 minutes later I heard the siren and saw the red and blue flashing lights. And they got me off the bike, and the rest is history. In hospital, x-rays. And then at midday I was wheeled into the operating theatre, and they told me exactly what was going to happen and how they were going to repair the broken leg by putting a rod right the way down through the centre of the main bone. And they said, before I went to sleep, they said, "Are you allergic to anything?" And I said, "Yes, I am. It's gravity and kangaroos." And everybody laughed in the operating theatre. And the next thing I know, I'm waking up and the job's done. It was about a 3 hour surgical procedure.
So you've
So,
got some metal hardware permanently attached in your bone. They
oh
stuck the
yeah,
rod, yeah, straight down through it.
yeah, and then they put two screws up near the knee, and they put two screws uh, down near the ankle. Pardon me. So yeah, I've got a couple of screws in place, and if anybody says if I got a screw loose, I can say yes, I have. Yeah, absolutely.
So it came out. It just hit you struck. It just came into the side of you, and where
Yeah,
it just ran right in. So you didn't low side or high side. It just he T-boned you as you were riding, and
yeah,
you yeah okay.
yeah,
Well, yeah, you said it
yeah,
pushed you into the other lane, but luckily there's no vehicle there, and
yeah,
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 yeah. You got,
yeah.
I mean, that if you're doing as fast as you said and accelerating, you're very lucky to be alive from that. Very lucky.
Well, after the operation, a couple of days after the operation, I was having a bit of a relax, watching TV in the room, and a gentleman came up and said, "I want to talk to you about your accident." I said, "Yeah, sure, come in." He sat down and he identified himself as an off-duty police officer, and he said, "I'm not here to talk about speed. I'm just here to talk about the accident and how you survived it and stuff like that." And when I told him, as soon as I saw the eyes of the kangaroo blinking at me, I said I accelerated. And being a big bike, the acceleration was quite good. And he reckons that after we talked a little while, he went through some statistics and figures. He said if I hadn't accelerated, I would have T-boned, my front wheel would have hit the kangaroo, and I would have definitely been killed. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Yes. And that was interesting. You saw it and accelerated. I talked with a guy last night, and there'll be an episode for you. He had a deer coming out, and he kicked at it. It was coming at his side, and he kicked at it to not, and he it hit him in the bike a little bit, but he kicked it enough to deflect it, but it did cause an injury to his ankle. It didn't break it, but it was a severe sprain, which I thought was interesting that he had enough
Yeah,
sense to try to kick it out of the way. It just deflected the deer enough to keep him upright, but that's a big hit. How much do those
yeah.
kangaroos weigh? They're not small animals.
Well, even the small ones, which are about 4 to 5 foot high, they probably weigh probably about 150, 200 pounds. If you've got a big red kangaroo, they could weigh a 3 or 400 pound.
Oh wow.
So they are big ones.
Yeah. Yeah, very big. And they're not low to the ground. I mean, they stand tall. So that's scary.
Oh, no. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well, what were you wearing?
Uh,
What was your gear? You were going to work. You were traveling, commuting to your job site. What was your gear did you have on?
I had Mexican Western boots on. I had because it was fairly cool in the morning. I had thick socks on. I had normal jeans. I had a uniform shirt. I had like a jumper or a woolen cardigan. On top of that, plus I had my big heavy leather jacket. On top of that, of course, goggles and safety helmet, all that.
Okay, so you were geared up, and luckily you didn't go down. So but you were now since you when you hit that kangaroo, did after you healed up? I mean, obviously you rode again. You got back on your bike. Did that change your any of your riding habits or riding styles after that incident?
Not really. It just made me more aware when I was traveling on the open road to be a little bit more conscious about the bush and the trees and the foliage. Um, Out here in Thailand, I don't have to worry about that. All we have to worry about is old Thailand people on motorcycles and scooters and in their cars especially in the villages, they'll come out of a side street, come out of their driveway, move onto the road, and they won't even look. So uh, yeah, on the open road, I know 12 months after the accident, I was out travelling in the States again on the Kawasaki. Didn't have to worry about kangaroos or anything like that, but I did see a few deer that made me go, ooh, and just because I know deer also run out and hit and crash and whatever. But back in Australia, it just made me more aware that something could be out there. So did it make me slow down? Not really, but it just made me just more aware of the surroundings.
Yeah, 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 and that would be a natural response just to become more aware. But I'm glad that it didn't keep you from riding, and it didn't. I was talking with the guy yesterday, and we identified it's pretty traumatic when you have an impact with the animal. I mean, obviously, it required you to have surgery. And so none of that's an easy thing, and sometimes that can affect people where they're really hesitant to ride again, or they're more nervous. But it didn't affect you a whole lot. You're back at other than you're just trying to be more situationally aware. So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's for
Okay.
sure. They, they can do a lot of damage. It bent my foot peg a little bit and crash bar. It bent right way around. And there's a little dent underneath the fuel tank. But apart from that, the damage on the motorcycle was minimal. I think I got the whole thing. It cost the insurance, I think, about 5 or 6 thousand Australian dollars to repair the motorcycle and just put things back the way they were.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I'm dealing with myself. I when I hit the deer, I hit it, T-boned it at 60 miles an hour in it, and I low sided, went straight down, and slid on both sides, kind of rolled around on the ground as my bike slid. But both front forks were bent, lower and upper tubes were bent, um, and bent the crash bars. Had luggage on. Tammy was actually on her bike behind me and saw it all happen. And I was out of it. She was trying to drag, all I remember was her trying to drag me out of the road, like telling me, get up, get up, get up, you got to get up, or a car's going to hit you. And I was just, and I didn't realize what all had happened at the time, but I'd hit my head pretty good. There's a big bash on my helmet. So I got a
Yeah,
concussion from that. But I was just in a lot of pain, and knocked the wind out of me. And that was, I know now because I've got them. It was I cracked my ribs, So, but she got to see it. All I just had a glimpse of that deer, hit it, and then I'm down. It was instant, and just instantaneously low
it was
sided.
quick. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
it's
I'm
amazing.
yeah, so I'm still getting you know, my bike is almost ready. So I'll be going to pick it up hopefully next weekend. I've been talking to my mechanic, the guy that's I've got a buddy who's, I'd much rather give the business to somebody I know than to the dealership. But yeah, I'm itching to get back out there. Well, so is that the only impact you've ever had with wildlife? Was that kangaroo?
I've had the usual when you're riding, especially when you're riding in Australia, you get to taste some pretty interesting bugs out there, grasshoppers and flying beetles. The occasional you might run over the occasional, see the occasional snake. Um, or if you're way out in the bush, you probably might see an emu. But that's about the only here in Thailand grasshoppers. And
Grasshoppers.
if you know anything about Thailand people will grow their own grasshoppers and then deep fry them and have them as treats. And they'll eat the silkworm larvae, and they'll eat other types of bugs and stuff like that. A really interesting look at the culture if you go into Bangkok. For argument's sake, we spent an evening in Chinatown, and some of the food there, some of the like dog food, the pack of power food, is really good, tasty, and very cheap. But there again, you'll see some Thailand Chinese stall owners. They've got every type of bug and worm and larvae imaginable for you to buy, and they'll heat it up and you can eat it. No, I'll just stick to my girlfriend cooks up good Thai food for me, and it's not too spicy. It's really nice. I like a little bit of heat. Can you ever remember the first meal that you ever cooked for me and Glenda?
Oh, no, I do not remember. Do you remember? I do not remember what I cooked for you and Glenda.
It was biscuits and gravy.
It was. Okay. Well, I know that's Tammy's favorite breakfast, so that's what I made, biscuits and gravy. See, you reminded me. I do remember we went up to the
Yeah.
mountain and ate a meal in Sewanee up on the mountain and went to an overlook, I think, out there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, out here, some amazing different types of fruits that we have. On the property where I live with my girlfriend, is they have a lot of bamboo, and at bamboo season, they get the bamboo about 12 to 18 inches out of the ground, the really young shoots, and they chop it off and they skin it and they can cook it. And actually, having shredded bamboo in some of the foods here is really nice. There's also a lot of these sorts of trees around.
Ah, you got a bunch of them there.
Bananas. We've got mango trees here. We've got papaya trees here as well. Yeah, it's really good. Really, really good.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
well, I've actually been watching some on YouTube. I follow a guy, and he did a Thailand adventure out there, and he's actually from Australia, and um, A Ramen is his handle on or A Ramen one on YouTube. But he's from Australia, and he does adventures all over the world, and I kind of like to. He's a good filmmaker, but he was actually, I think, last year up in Thailand riding around through the mountainside, and so on the dual sport bikes, on the little Honda dual sports, and so anyway, it's a beautiful country, beautiful country.
Oh, yeah, it is. Around here in Udontani, it's a lot of sugarcane, a lot of rice fields and stuff. We've just finished the rain season, and I'm pretty sure we've had up to about 3 meters of rain. There's about 3 feet per meter, so there you go. That gives you an idea how much rain we have here.
That's a lot of rain. Well, well, Taz, as we come to the end of this episode, I want to thank you again for coming on and agreeing to do this. I'm really happy to see you and connect with you because it's been a number of years. So I want to thank you, and for all the listeners out there, please like and subscribe on this. And this was a nice pleasure for us to experience this all the way over in Thailand. We can do this through the internet halfway around the world. We can sit here and chit
Yeah, it's
chat.
amazing.
It is. It
Welcome
is.
to Thailand.
Yeah.
Yeah, see the scooter in the background too.
Yeah.
Y'all do. There's over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, my other best friend who I got over here.
Ah, you got your cat.
They got my Kelly. Yeah,
All right. All
yeah.
right.
There wasn't too many people I could trust with her, so I thought I'll get onto a company and It didn't cost me that much really to bring her over here. She had to go through a full medical, but yeah, all good.
Okay.
Very happy. Uh, the one thing you do notice that ladies do not look their age in Thailand. She looks about 35.
Thank you.
She looks about 35.
I'm on
Well, she is
time.
35. She is 35, right?
In her mind, oh, absolutely, yeah, absolutely, yeah. And another thing about us as a couple is that my birthday is on the April 10. Her birthday is on April 15.
Well, that makes it
So there
easy to
you go.
remember, and y'all can celebrate together. So,
Oh, we do.
Oh,
Oh, we do.
yeah.
Yeah.
well,
But it's been
Taz,
great talking. Let's do this
yes,
again sometime.
yes, sir, absolutely. So, thank you for coming on.